Hi there, and welcome to another episode of pianoTV. So today what I want to do is take you on a tour through this big pile of books here, which is a pile of books that are my favorite to use for grade 2 level music. I also did a video really similar to this with grade 1 level music, and there's going to be a little bit of overlap, but if you haven't already checked it out, you can check out that video. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I'm also going to leave a link to the grade 2 level video I did recently on what to expect for a grade 2 exam, and just like the different categories and everything like that. So that might make this video make a little bit more sense. So the first books that make sense to talk about today are the official grade 2 RCM books. I've got two with me. I've got the repertoire one. This is like the new series. And then I've got the etudes, which is from the old series. I couldn't find my new one. So anyway, these are probably the most common books that people like to use when they're studying for RCM because they've got like a pretty diverse range of tunes. So this will have a collection of all grade 2 level pieces. Some are like pop, some are old. And the studies book is kind of like a companion book, and it has just a bunch of songs that are meant to develop like a particular technique, like they're, you know, to develop staccato or to develop being able to play fifths or jump around the keyboard or things like that. So these are often used together. Now, there's definitely pros and cons for using them. I try to encourage my students to go outside of the celebration series box just because I don't necessarily think they have lasting value in a personal music book collection. That felt like a mouthful to say. These books get renewed every 8 years or so. So after 8 years, they're kind of like, they're sort of obsolete. I mean, you can still use them, but I find when I go to the piano and sit down and want to play something, I'm going to pull out a book that is more of like an album or like a collection by a certain composer as opposed to one of these. Generally, what I find with myself and with other people is like once these are done, they kind of just like get put on a shelf and forgotten about forever. So, but they are really convenient because they have kind of an all-in-one thing going for them. So not to be super biased, but I'm a little biased, probably my favorite grade 2 level book out of all of these I'm going to show you, if I had to pick just one, is this Christopher Norton's Connection 2 book. Christopher Norton is a Canadian dude. He's really awesome, and all of the songs in this book are at a grade 2 level, so they're a lot like the Celebration series books. What I like about them, though, is they're really good for people who don't like classical music, because it's full of a bunch of modern-sounding songs in a bunch of different styles, like there's Latin songs and jazz songs and pop songs, and basically like anything that you could want that doesn't sound classical. And yeah, they're really fun. They're not super easy. They're not super hard. Most of my students really tend to like these songs a lot. Another fun thing about these books is that they come with like a little code. So if you go to the website, you can actually listen to audio recordings of all of these songs. But even more exciting, it's not just an audio recording of piano only. There's full backing tracks and instrumentation. So if you wanted to, if you're like motivated, you could turn on your iPod or whatever and play along to it. So it's a really good way to do some ear development as well. This next book I'm going to show you is another fairly large, a little bit expensive. It's like a $30 book, Canadian. I don't know what that translates to other. You do your own conversion. Is the Essential Keyboard Repertoire book. So this is kind of everything the Christopher Norton book isn't. It's a big collection of a bunch of really old music ranging anywhere from like Baroque to Romantic, even like 20th century stuff, like I think there's Bartok and stuff in here too. So it's got a little bit of everything, and I did talk about this in the grade 1 video. I'm not sure if I already said that, but what I like about it is that, well, first of all, it's huge. There's a ton of songs in here. Like, here's this is the entire table of contents. But there's also stuff from a whole bunch of different levels, like all the way from a preparatory level to, I think it goes as high as like grade 5, 6 level, some of the songs. I think in the official RCM syllabus, in this book, there's like somewhere in the ballpark of 9 songs that you could actually choose to do for an exam if you want. And not all of these songs are like graded, so there's probably way more that are at a grade 2 level. Anyway, it's a great resource of older style classical music. So those 3, well technically 4 books I just showed you are kind of like the main collections. What I want to show you now are smaller collections that are almost like little music albums in their length, and I also want to show you a couple pop books that I like to use as well. So the first composer specific book I want to show you is by Bela Bartok. He was Hungarian, and it's his collection called For Children, volumes 1 and 2. Now, don't be freaked out by the title, like you don't have to be a child to play it. A lot of the songs, like they don't sound like little little kid songs. That being said, Bella Bartok is not for everyone. It's a very interesting, like, sort of modern folk style with a lot of kind of dissonance and weird notes and stuff like that. I think it's really neat. There's nothing quite like it. He has a very unique style. And what I like about Bartok is since he was a piano teacher as well as like an amazing composer, he wrote everything from the younger grades, like the lower grades, like grade 2, all the way up to like really, really, really tough songs. So this book spans basically everything from grade 2 to 8. So this is a book that can grow with you. Some of them are quite challenging, but the beginning starts off not too bad. This next book is one I've already talked about in the grade 1 version of this video. It's by Christine Donkin, and the book is Legends and Lore. I just wanted to bring this one up again because it's got like a small collection of music between grade 1 to 3 levels. So this is a grade 2, like kind of smack in the middle, and there's some really, really neat songs in here. If you're into like video game music and stuff like that, this is a good one. Like as an adult, I really like the music in this. I'm not sure if like maybe that's just my nerdy side coming out of rap, but that's a good one. And another book I mentioned last time too was Martha Mears' Jazz Rights and Blues book, Volume 1. This one also has a small collection of songs from between like a roughly grade 1 to 3 level. And if you like jazzy sounding music, you will love this book. Martha Mear is great for writing songs that are playable if you're a beginner, but sound really cool. They don't just sound like plunky little kid songs. And yeah, like as the title says, it's definitely something with a little bit of a jazzier bent to it if you're into that kind of song. In the new 2015 RCM syllabus, I don't think there are songs from this book anymore that you can play at a grade 2 level, but there used to be songs in the syllabus so basically what I'm saying is you wouldn't be able to use one of these songs for an exam, but they're like at the right level, so if you don't care about exams, you can have fun with them. Another one of my favorite books that has like kind of a wide range of difficulties, basically, I don't know, like I'm just gonna guess, you have everything like grade 1 all the way to like, I don't know, grade 4 or 5 level stuff, is Sunday Soup by Janet Giek. I'm sorry, Janet, I do not know how to say your last name. But anyway, this is a little bit more difficult to find. Like, you're not going to be able to find it on traditional music retailers like Sheet Music Plus or anything. Janet, I had the pleasure of meeting her because she adjudicated the festival for my piano students this year. And that's when I was lucky enough to come across this book because she just like brought some music for sale. So I made sure to pick them up. So this is a new one for me, but I really, really like the songs in here. First of all, it's like a really cute concept, like Sunday Soup. Like how adorable is that? But it's got like a nice range of songs. So like one of my favorites is a song called Grandmother's Tale. It's not too crazy difficult, but it's like really sad. It's surprisingly sad for being a like very simple song. Or there's a version of Mary Had a Little Lamb in here that isn't like da 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 da, like, you know, standard Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's like a crazy jazz version of it. So yeah, this is a really cool book if you're like kind of looking for something a little bit more obscure. Support the Canadian composer. Support the Saskatchewan composer. So the vast majority of the books I've shown you are all what we would categorize as like a list B piece, which is more contemporary, more like pop-ish. I want to show you a book that isn't. So this book, I know it's really cute, right? It's by Linda Nymath. It's called Watermelon and Friends. And what these songs are inventions. And in grade 2 piano, inventions they're basically like conversations with your hand. So the standard way to play music is to do like chords in the left hand and then a melody in the right hand. And what inventions do is build hand independence because your left hand is working a little bit harder. So maybe your right hand plays a little something, then your left hand copies it, and they're both kind of doing different things at the same time. And this book is like a really cute way to learn that playing style. So it's kind of like a stepping stone. So you don't want to be like just randomly thrust into the world of Bach at a grade 7 level without not having ever learned an invention. So I really like this. All of the songs have like different fruit names and super cute. So the last book I'm going to show you are pop collections. I've got 3 of them here. And this first one here, the Disney collection, is one I showed the last time, I'm pretty sure. Now, this one is sort of like somewhere between big note piano, just like regular sized note piano. So it's not too insulting to learn from if you're an adult, like you're not looking at like giant notes on a page. And if you're into Disney music, it's a really comprehensive choice. There's a little bit of everything, and it actually, like here's the index. And it actually leans a little bit more difficult as opposed to a little bit easier. So a lot of these songs I would say would be like closer to grade 2, 3, and beyond level, as opposed to leaning in like a preparatory direction. So that's a good one. So the next one I'm going to show you is called The Best Songs Ever Big Note Piano. I know it's big note, not everyone's into that. Just to kind of give you a sense of what it looks like, this is the size of the note. I think it's useful when you're first starting to read music, but I can understand how, like, if you're an adult learner, it can be a little, like, disconcerting to... It kind of looks like kid music, right? But the problem is with pop music is there's so many books that are meant more for advanced players, and there's not a lot of books that are meant for beginners. So if you kind of like have pop music and you struggle through it, this might be a good one to look at. It has like a really diverse portfolio of music too. So best songs ever, like it has everything from rock music to pop music to classics to like Broadway and stuff like that. So that's a good one. I also mentioned this one in the grade 1 version of this video. And lastly, I gotta give a shout out to the Faber and Faber books. So there's a whole bunch of these. This particular series, when it's from like level 3A to 3B, is all called Fun Time. And the one I'm showing you right now is called Kids Songs. They're not necessarily just for kids, but there's like different categories, like there's hymns and rock and roll and different stuff like that, just so it depends on your music taste. What I like about these is they're really well arranged, they sound good, and most of these songs are like roughly around a grade 2 level, so you could probably go through and learn all of them. Now, like, just so you know, okay, so there's like some Disney on here, Be Our Guest, but there's also Beatles. You got Yellow Submarine, you've got the Addams Family theme, Walking on Sunshine, so it's not like this is like Mary Had a Little Lamb stuff. And those are all of my favorite grade 2 piano books. Now, I wouldn't recommend like going and buying all of them unless you're crazy like me and you just want to have a bunch of music books or you teach or whatever. But the books I recommend my students always get, for sure, I always recommend the Christopher Norton Connections 2 book, like no matter what. Everything else is kind of just a side quest. Like if they're into classical music, I like getting them into the Essential Keyboard Repertoire book. And I don't know, if they're into like jazz music, maybe we'll take a look at Martha Meir. But generally it comes down to personal taste, and I usually recommend each student at each level get like somewhere between 2 to 3 books. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you found maybe like a new book or two to check out when the next time you're music book shopping. Thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you next time.